So I'm just gonna put my gear on, my saddle on. First thing, I'm just gonna check my harness. Any defects, any broken stitching, all the good things you're supposed to do. Making sure my bridges are good, there's no frays in them, no stiff spots or hollow spots. I like to check all my lanyards as well before I put my gear on when I can see it really good. Looking for frays, hard spots, soft spots, big bulges. Check my buckles, all my attachment points. Everything looks good. Toss it on. Kind of taking a peek at the work we have at hand today. Got a few pine trees and a smaller birch to do, so kind of thinking about how we're going to start, position everything. If you do any amount of crane work, I highly recommend getting a pair of suspenders. Saves your back a lot. Alright, so tying into the crane. Anytime before you even put your tie-in on, always inspect the headed ball, crane ball, the hook, and all the attachment points. It's just something you should do as a climber to make sure everything is in position and where it needs to be. If there's anything you might think looks a little off, ask the operator. He can assist you with any questions you might have. So I always like to look at the attachment points, make sure all the pins are there, there's nothing missing, nothing looks loose. Nothing can slide out. And then the attachment point we have is a custom made by Travis himself, Travis Nickerson. So it's two ISC steel carabiners, 10mm epi cord. It's actually stitched together, and then two ISC steel rings that are spliced in there down below. So attaching to the crane. Always go above the becket. And make sure when you put it on, if you have this tail like this dead end, make sure you see that. So always on the live end. This is no good. So attach the tie-in, opposing gates. Just like that. It might look like it has a little bit of side load, but we're never even coming close to exceeding any of the forces from this. Just because of how it's configured and how it hangs. So we attach up here in case something were to happen to the ball and it comes disconnected. We're still attached to the load line and we're not going anywhere. Climb line in a bag attached to my harness. That way I'm not dragging any line. There's nothing that can be caught and pull on me as I'm attached to the crane. So as far as tying in, through both rings. You always want to go through both rings, or at least have two rings on your tie-in because of the bend radius of the rope. That's there. And then, always having a secondary attachment point. So you'll notice that my secondary attachment point is on my lower D's. And that's because if something were to happen to my bridge and it failed and I was suspended from my secondary attachment point, the lower D's are designed for vertical restraint. So your upper D's, I have this, these are more for work positioning in horizontal restraint. So if you've ever hung by your upper beads, very uncomfortable, which is not how it's designed. So always on the lower beads. You have your main tie-in attached. So I always have tension on my climb line, and then keep this just barely slack. So not slack, but just so that this isn't supporting me, my climb line is. And then if anything were to happen to my climb line and my bridge, I wouldn't take a fall or drop into my system. This would just be here to support.